They've made a grim tactical RPG set in a cyberpunk fantasy world. They've made a tactics game with big friggin' robots, mechs. Now they can't work on any of those anymore. Hello there strategy gamers, and welcome to my humble channel where I talk all things strategy games and the people that make them. Today I'd like to talk just a bit, I promise I won't ramble too long here, on our favorite tactics game developers, or at least one of my favorites, Harebrained Schemes. They have recently released a statement about their departure with Paradox Interactive. The studio has gone indie and they've left behind their previous games, the Shadowrun Trilogy and BattleTech with Paradox, which means they don't own it and they can't work on it. This also includes the Lamplighters League, which is less than successful than those two games. Allegedly, there had been rumors that the studio had been gutted as early as June 2023. No official statement has ever been released about that, but there has certainly been some evidence that quite a bit of people lost their jobs based on their LinkedIn status. Which means this independent Harebrained Schemes is a pretty small team made up of core members who worked on Shadowrun and BattleTech. Now, without the financial backing of Paradox Interactive behind them, do they have enough money to survive? Are they earning from those games they developed? Considering they were acquired by Paradox Interactive, which means they were working as an internal Paradox studio instead of the usual developer-publisher relationship, I'm not sure if they're earning some form of royalty from sales of these games. There are lots of details about the business side of things which we don't have to work with here, but it's safe to say the situation is not looking great for them. This is a sort of reset for them as they enter what I can only call as survival mode, and in their own admission, they say that it is a brutal time to be in the games industry. One where publishers are not looking for rough gems to work out the kinks, but games with a solid foundation where production can begin almost immediately. Publishers right now aren't interested in taking lots of risks. Harebrained Schemes has announced that they are indeed working on a new game concept, which I don't think was something they thought of like in a month or two. This was definitely in the plans like months back, probably in middle of 2023 while the writings were on the wall. So they said they are working on a demo, to be exact a prototype of sorts, a proof of concept, which most likely will be used to pitch the idea to a publisher or some investor. There are three ways which they could go about this. One is if they have enough funds to begin with, they could self-fund it and do a crowdfunding campaign, which they did with Shadowrun Returns. So it's something that they are familiar with. The only thing here is developing games is very expensive, especially these days. So realistically speaking, crowdfunding wouldn't be enough if Harebrained Schemes wanted to make a game at the scope of their previous games. Second option, pitch a publisher, which is something that was suggested in their recent going indie statement. There are a lot of publishers out there looking for great ideas from small developers, case in point Hooded Horse, who have snagged a few gems. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we got an announcement down the road if Hooded Horse was actually publishing their next game. The third option is a bit more on the rarer side of things. Crowdfunding the game first, then signing up with a publisher for more funding. This might seem like a betrayal of sorts to those that kickstarted the game, but it has happened before. As long as this is made transparent to those who kickstarted the game, I think it's okay, but publishers in general don't really do this as they aren't keen to cede control or stake on the game to other parties. This one's not that common actually, but hey, stranger things have happened before. At the end of the day, Harebrained Schemes will live or perish based on the strength of their ideas. If they could get some solid business backing and survive the year or two before the release of their next game, they will be back to their previous selves. I don't think they will ever consider to grow the studio to the size it was previously, but they can still make great games. Maybe they might have to make smaller scoped games to fit a more modest budget. That's something we will only know when they share more details on the project they are working on. I just want to say to Harebrained Schemes, I'm rooting for you guys. You have the brains, the talent, and the skills to do great stuff. And I can't wait to learn about your next big thing when you're ready to share more. So, have you played one of their games? What's your favorite? If you haven't, do check them out. They are totally worth your time, especially if you're into tactics games. By the way, I've talked a bit about Paradox Interactive's trouble with becoming a big company over here. So, if you want to know what I think about their situation, go ahead and check that video out. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.